All right, we're live. Let me just take a second here. Come into the collective, open this up. Welcome everybody. Live interview with the king himself, Scotty King. What's going on, brother?
Yes. What's up, brother Adam?
How you doing,
So
man?
excited to be here. Doing great today, man. Feeling inspired. Going into the weekend. Slowing down. Time to slow down a little bit on the weekend.
Yeah, a little bit of time for celebration, a little bit of time for what's the weekend plans
today, man.
What are you doing into this weekend?
Yeah, man. So yeah, a lot of celebrating this weekend. Celebrating, coming to work, reflection. Hi, Sonia. This evening, man. Yeah. So today is my Saturday. Every 2 weeks, I do a live sunset yoga with live music and breath work. I've been co-creating, collaborating, bringing a community together every 2 weeks. So that will be the celebration for this evening.
Epic, bro. I love it.
And then right before this, I always enjoy the farmers.
Cultivating that community in Southern California, huh?
Yes. Collaborating, playing, having fun with the other teachers. And yeah, it's been great, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive in here, bro. We'll wait a quick second. I just wanted to take a second, so thank you to get this pulled up on Facebook so I can see everybody's comments. Yeah, I see Sonia's here. What's going on, Sonia? So for those of you who are here, please go ahead and comment below because otherwise we can't see who is joining us. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you have any particular intentions, anything you're excited to hear about, any questions you have for Scotty or myself as we go through this. Essentially, we're gonna move through a conversation here, which will ideally unpack and unravel and illuminate for anybody watching. Essentially, a path to success. Essentially a path to success. Will, of course, for those of you who don't know, Scotty, will give a chance for him to introduce himself and let you know a little bit more about the work that he does in the world and the work he does within himself. And then he's going to share into and speak directly into, the title of this live stream, which actually still has its old title on here. That's really funny. I'm just looking at StreamYard as I'm doing this. It still says 11 clients in 15K in 10 weeks. It should say 12 clients in 20K in 12 weeks. That changed so rapidly that there were places where I didn't get to update the title on the banner or the stream. So that's actually really funny in this moment. That will play a part into this story. So he's going to share a little bit into, of course, what has worked for him, in terms of within the Sacred Purpose program. But also, I think more importantly, in the core focus of this particular conversation is the rapid expansion from the inside out, I guess is how I'll say it, from working through the heart and the things that have unfurled and broken through. And I'll give Scotty a chance to really speak into that and share from his heart and give you guys an idea of where he's been, where he's at now, and also where he's going. So without further ado, I think that gives a pretty good introduction. Anything else you want to share before we get started, brother?
I'm just really present as I'm reflecting and just sharing. I'm just kind of reflecting, past 3 months, images in my mind come up where I started 3 months ago. And yeah, when you said the expansion from the inside out, and that's totally been my experience through this program and Sacred Purposes, doing the deep inner work, being willing and open and vulnerable to go into these spaces. And through that has been the rapid expansion beyond what my mind could predict that has resulted in so much abundance externally.
I can already see we're gonna do a lot of this. I can feel it already. We're gonna do a lot of this in the conversation, which is the excitement that at least I, and I'm sure I know you do too. It's like there's a particular activation that happens for me around like joy and excitement when I feel like somebody touch on a point that I want to go deeper into. That's why I love podcasts and live interviews. I was telling somebody a couple of days ago, she's like, "Oh, can I have you on to interview a guest train in my group?" And I was like, we don't even need to plan what we're going to speak about because as soon as I weave with somebody's energy, just like this side by side on the screen, I feel like it opens up a whole portal, like a whole world. So thanks for being here first and foremost, brother. And perhaps everybody, ourselves included, will receive something completely unexpected from this live interview. Who knows? So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing into that, brother. I'd love for you to just start, so people who are just jumping on now get a chance to know, like, who is Scotty King? You know, like a little bit about yourself briefly, some of the work that you do in the world, so that people get to really know like who you are and what type of coach you are.
Yeah. So hi everyone. Let me know that you're on. If you're on, let us know that you are on. I see Sonia's on, and I'd love to know who is on here so we could speak directly to you. And as questions come up, we could speak to those questions that do come up. So my name is Scotty King. I'm an international breath work and meditation teacher and an intuitive coach. So, you know, my journey over the last few years has been an entrepreneur, and really this year and the last few months is really stepping into my own brand, my own leadership position, and branding myself as a coach and a mentor and a guide. And this is a new journey for me, being a coach, and at the scale as I'm scaling and narrowing down my niche of working with people who struggle with self-sabotaging behaviors. And let's be real, like, we're human beings. We all sabotage our lives in some way, whether we are aware of it, conscious of it, or if we're not, if it's unaware, it's unconscious. So I specialize in working with people with self-sabotaging behaviors to help them confidently step into their power and purpose. And that's through breath work. I'm a breath work master and meditation master, where I've lived and studied in India and Nepal and Indonesia for a few months at a time and over a couple-year period. So I bring a lot of Eastern teachings and practices and philosophy into the Western personal development world around mindset and strategy and structure. And I weave these two East and West concepts together, and then I channel it through my coaching. And I use breath work as one of my main tools, and mindfulness and language, and all just to be the creator of our reality. And I'm sure many of you can experience, like, as we step into being the creator and designer of our reality, there's some deep stuff, some fears come up, some insecurities, and self-sabotaging behaviors come up. So because this has been my greatest medicine to overcome my own self-sabotaging behaviors around guilt and shame and unworthiness and not feeling enough, feeling inadequate, I'm healed and overcoming this within myself. So it sets me up to be the power in my presence, through my presence, to be able to walk others through the journey that I've walked through and overcome. So that's really my mastery, is the breath work and using my intuition, the power of my intuition, which I've discovered and tapped into my intuition through this program, Sacred Purpose.
Beautiful, brother. Beautiful share. Thanks for really going deep with us into. I love the blend, and I feel like that will actually play its part into this conversation. And I just love the emphasis on, you know, as people are becoming, probably a lot of people who are healers and coaches and aspiring coaches, entrepreneurs, maybe watching this in this group, in the collective, you know, this concept that you spoke directly to of your own self-sabotaging behaviors, your own things that have come up, your own shadows that have arisen, and then essentially just finding the tool that works the best for you to break through them, right? And now sharing that medicine with others. And so, yeah, I really, in a sense, I just want to say in this moment, I'm honoring you for getting out of your own way and allowing that to come through you, and realizing kind of in the simplicity that, like, hey, what is working for me in this journey can also be really potent medicine for somebody else to help them really push through something that's in their way. And I love the focus on self-sabotaging behaviors. I love how you've languaged it that way, because I think everybody kind of immediately hears that word and they're like, yep, this is the one that like kind of shows up for me. You know, we all have one. So as always, brother, really, really good work.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Yeah, that has been my greatest medicine, is realizing it takes being honest. It takes a level of like radical honesty, radical transparency, and radical acceptance of oneself to like name, like, oh, I have guilt. Actually, my procrastination, my excuses that show up with me are actually because I'm afraid, are actually because I feel inadequate. I don't feel worthy. And that's been my greatest message, to be able to realize that, name it, acknowledge it, and love that part of myself to move through these fears and insecurities that naturally come up. There's like, it's not, they're not going to go away. It's part of the process. So it's developing my relationship to my own self-sabotaging patterns that come up. What is my relationship to them, and how do I accept them and acknowledge them and love that part of myself as I move through this transformational journey, this expansion, this evolution in business and myself, personal life, and my relationships.
Beautiful. I love this. We're about to we're on the edge of going. I feel like we're on the edge of the riptide. We're about to go right into the wave of shadow work. So I figured we might as well dive right in, right? And Marissa, right at that moment, Marissa's here, who's also in Sacred Purpose, said literally in that moment she said shadow work for the win.
There it is. That's the cue. That's the cue.
Yeah, I love that so much. That's the cue. There's spirits coming through Marissa, sharing with us to go right in. So let's dive in, brother. You know, can you, for people joining, you know, unlike Sonia, Marissa, and others who might not know you and might not know your journey, but also have an opportunity to see themselves within you, because your story is both unique and similar to many people's journeys, but with its own unique imprints and blueprints. And so can you paint a little bit of a picture for us, as if this audience is in the room with you and I having this conversation 3+ months ago, about 4 months ago, of, okay, before you joined my program, Sacred Purpose, like, what was transpiring for you? Where were you at? What were your aspirations in terms of like building a coaching brand? You said stepping into your own brand. And what were some of the challenges and things that were coming up, or doubts? Like, where were you at, and what support did you need? I would love if you could share into this a little bit for us.
Yeah. Wow, that's, as you're speaking, I'm just being present to the stuff that comes up in my body, the emotions that show up, you know, in my heart. And going back to 3 or 4 months ago when I started, I'm in a, like, I was in the dark hole, the dark underworld when I started this program a few months ago. I had and it's still present, like the emotion is still heavy, you know, they're on my heart, so it's still fresh as I'm working through a lot of things.
Yeah, allow it to be here with us.
So I'm just gonna allow it to flow. And you know, a few months ago when I started, I felt like my life had collapsed. My life was falling apart. Earlier this year is what it felt like, was my experience. I was getting out of a 4.5-year relationship, and my business felt like it was collapsing. You know, my other business that I had before this, running retreats and coaching, and with my ex-business partner, and that was all collapsing. It felt as if my world was collapsing. And if any of you can relate to your world collapsing, I get it. I felt like my life was collapsing. My world was collapsing. It was like I was not able to see myself. I had the experience that in completing the partnership, business, moving places, I was like in the depths of the fire, in the depths of darkness, and I did not feel I had any value. It was like, what is my life? What am I going to do? Who am I going to be? How am I going to make money? Like so many things going through my mind and emotions. And so going back to that 3 or 4 months ago, it brings up a lot of emotion, as y'all can see there. It brings up emotion, and I'm speaking into that emotion to allow me to be with it and realize, like, that what I feared the most, I did not know. I feared leaving my relationship, my business. Those were my two biggest fears. I didn't see I had value or worth outside of that identity. So once that collapsed, and when I remember getting on the phone with Adam on a phone call on my way to Sedona, Arizona, and that was like right in the mid-July, and the program started like in August or September in Sacred Purpose. And in July, I remember breaking down, and he was like, dude, there's so much for you. And through that, I just leaned in my trust. Like there was no other way. I knew my intuition. I was feeling the strength of my intuition being pulled into Adam and his coaching program and his teaching. And I knew like, this is all or nothing for me. It's all or nothing. And I just gave my trust and surrendered into Adam and what he offers. And through that has been the activation of my fire, of my potential, of my powers. He's activated that within me for me to receive. And then my business has supported me through this process over the last 3 or 4 months. So that was where I started. I was like in the depths of darkness. I did not feel, it was moving through so much. My heart was broken. My life felt like it was collapsing. And at the same time, I knew, like my intuition knew this was going to take me somewhere. I just didn't know what it looked like, how it was going to work. What if it didn't work? What if it failed? Didn't know any of that. Yeah. So that's where I started.
I'm just being with what you're feeling right now.
Yeah.
And also relating to it. I'm just relating to it within myself. You know, I would love, you know, for the people who are on here, if you can relate, to just comment below, and if you feel to share your, Sonia says, feeling you and resonate. Thank you for your vulnerability. So proud of you. Beautiful. Yeah, for those of you who can relate, I would just invite you to take a moment, because I really honor that. I know it's almost a double-edged sword. In the moments where we feel like we're in the darkest spot and we're most exposed, aka vulnerable, and we feel like the security of who we thought we were and what we thought we had disappears, it's actually, in my experience, can be the hardest time to trust. Yet trust essentially is the only thing you have. Everything else is taken away and you're left with simply trust. And my experience, of what you shared so beautifully, is that what I love so much about you, man, is that you could see that. You had the awareness and the wherewithal to look at that and be like, all right, spirit took everything else. You know, it's like, this is clear. I cannot be defined by what is external. I cannot be defined by the relationship. I cannot be defined by the business that the relationship held. I cannot be defined by those other things. So I must be more than that. And yet I don't know who I am. And I can't see that yet. But somebody is here who's able to see it. You know, and somebody is here reflecting back some part of me that perhaps I'm still in the process of uncovering for myself. And how often do we have that experience? It's like, in a sense, it feels like we're so supported. You know, it's a God, angel, spirit, source, whatever you want to call it. Whatever we need shows up for us with the divine reflection in the moment when we usually can't see ourselves. So I just really honor you for bringing that up, brother, and allowing us to see that really important piece, because I think so many people can relate to that moment where you just have to jump. And when we jump, the ego comes up with all the stories you mentioned really powerfully, and really clearly, which is, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know who I am anymore. I'm claiming that I'm going to put up my resource into becoming a coach, you know, and people have a different word to put in the quotes there, but in this case, into becoming a coach. I don't know what that's going to look like, but this is all I've got. And so let me allow myself to, what's in front, the opportunity that's in front of me must be here for a reason. That's what's coming through for me now. It's like, okay, this opportunity is like so strongly and clearly here for me. It must be here for a reason. And that's what I feel ignites so much trust. And so I really honor you for having that awareness, because let's be real. Like the fear that is present in that situation can usually get the best of us. And it does, up until the point it doesn't. I feel we go through cycles in life where it gets the best of us so many times, up until I'm like, all right, I've had enough. I'm going to change something. And so honoring you, brother, for having brought all of that into the program.
Yeah. Thank you, brother, for that. And Thank you to everyone's watching too. Sonia, Rayma, for your support, your words. Yeah, the trust, taking the leap. And Spirit presented you and this opportunity for me to trust something outside myself, greater than myself, to have that be my activation. And that's exactly what it's been. It's been this catalyst. And through that deeper trust of myself and my willingness, it's resulted in more people deeply trusting me and what I have to offer in my medicine. And that's been the biggest breakthrough I've ever had. I really get like the internal world creates the outer world. Before the program, like I got that like at more of an intellect and conceptual idea. But now I'm moving into this embodiment work. This inner work I feel is embodiment work. And when we can move through this with trust and embody safety, other people we attract are going to feel that way too. And then as a result, invest into our medicine, what we have to offer. And that just creates such a potent and powerful ripple effect, as Sonia mentioned, and how she felt that through me and just felt me and what I was embodying, and with no question invested into my coaching. And she's having amazing progress and results because of that. And so yeah, thank you for starting, Sonia, on that piece. And yeah, my trust in myself through trusting Adam and sacred purpose is only deepening my embodiment practices.
I love this point so much. I can't not touch on it. And I don't need to say much because you said it so perfectly. Like I just want to presence anybody who's watching now, anybody who watches the replay, like take a moment to be with this. This is really, really important if it fully lands, because this is why I need sometimes I need people's reflections. You know, they say things in ways that I see but don't speak. Sometimes, you know, it's like divine mirrors coming through. So thank you for this divine mirror, brother. I love this piece. And sometimes it'll come through in like trainings on abundance, because this is why I say trust is the currency of abundance, right? Like abundance is trust and trust is abundance. It's the same thing. And so you're showing what is happening in between when we essentially dissolve everything and are left with where we started with. The only thing we have is, okay, am I going to trust or not? You invested your trust into me, which was essentially you investing your trust into yourself, and you investing your trust into God all at once, that you were going to just be taken care of, provided, and fully supported. And then you doing the deep inner work to continue. And this is what it's looked like, guys, whether we go into this or not, Scotty, in the program, it's like ripping, almost look like Superman coming out of it's like ripping the shadows off of the front, right? And like pulling the layers back, and it's like, all right, here's the shame, here's the guilt, here's this, right? And as we do that, what's underneath is we just trust ourselves more deeply. And as we embody that becomes a frequency and a vibration which we emanate. And this is why we call this magnetic marketing, if we go into business terms, because now people come in and you don't really have to sell. People are like, wow, is this self-confidence or self-esteem or something? I see this person in the most vulnerable spot, yet they have this level of trust that makes me desire to want to walk with them. Right? It's unshakable. It doesn't mean they're not moving through the fire. It just means they have unshakable confidence. And that unshakable confidence comes from nothing else except for a deep trust in yourself, spirit, mentorship, guidance, like inner guidance. Right. And so we're pulling apart all the stories that in our lives, all the wounding and all the shadows that have us not fully trusting in life itself. And what emerges are people that literally align with the energy that is coming through us. And I just want to presence too. That's what you're getting when you do a breathwork session with Scotty, right? It's like there are lots of people doing breathwork, so you have to ask yourself. I had, of course, Sonia did it and then signed up for coaching. I had another client, Cam, who says it's the most powerful breathwork he's ever done. And he does breathwork along with a lot of other people. And so I just want to presence the fact that it's not that we are inherently special, more special than somebody else. It's that we're aligning ourselves with a frequency and a vibration that has us trusting ourselves in God so deeply that there's not room for doubt to live. It's like the love is so strong, there's not room for doubt to live, so it dissolves. And I feel that's the real potency of your work and the real formula to why you have been so successful in this program, both at a financial level, but at every level, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said, brother. Well said. That is, the embodiment and the activation of trust, like embody the trust, the frequency, the vibration. And before I was in Sacred Purpose, like what I was moving through with my relationship and business, that all had to fall apart. And I felt that my intuition knew I was not in full integrity and embodiment of what I was attempting to teach and coach. I was doing it, but it was not in full alignment. Therefore, it was harder. It was like I was lacking inspiration, creativity. There's more heavier emotions of the shame and afraid of showing up. But now I've been Sacred Purpose and making my decisions and doing the things that have terrified me the most this year. I literally went into a cave that I was terrified to go into, but I went through it. I knew that was my only way to go through. And I felt trust in Adam and allowed myself to be supported through his guidance and through the support of the community and Sacred Purpose. That through this, when I show up to teach and coach and breath work, like it's me and I'm in full integrity of what I speak, what I share, what I practice, my ceremonies I do for myself. So because of that, I can show up as a coach and teacher, just as who I am, and it radiate through me freely. And I believe people feel that, the magnetic activation of that. It draws people in, and I'm in full integrity. There's no what I'm teaching, what I'm sharing, it's my life. So it just comes naturally, and there's no resistance. When fear does come up, when doubt does come up, shame does come up, it's like, no, I'm in full integrity. This is embodied. This is who I am. And I'm practicing, cultivating that trust and surrender and through that, the embodiment and love and loving those parts of myself that once kept me safe, loving those parts of myself that I made myself wrong for. The love dissolves the insecurities and the doubts and the stuff of the ego. I love through it. It doesn't mean it's easy or comfortable. It's very uncomfortable, and body has a lot of reactions. However, I just love it. It's temporary. It goes away if I move through it. If I don't move through these things, my experience, it magnetizes because I'm afraid, and it's stopping me, the shame or the not feeling good enough, afraid of being seen and showing up. That only grows if I resist going there.
Yeah, this is really powerful. And I think that I love how this conversation's unpacking, because we're giving people really deep behind it's like we're in the energetics of our WhatsApp message exchange right now. we're I mean, of course, nobody else knows except for Scotty and I, but I'm just like tuning into always the energy of something beyond the words. And I'm like feeling like we're energetically inside of our private message exchange in WhatsApp, and the voice notes that nobody else can hear, so I really appreciate that, as always, fully vulnerable. And I want to really speak for a second into that, because it hasn't been easy for Scotty. It hasn't been comfortable, and he can of course speak more and more to this, but I think we get the point right now. It's like what he has done, though, and let this be like a penny and a lesson and a nugget for anybody who's moving through, is he's looked at, and this is the way Sacred Purpose is intentionally structured: shadow work and strategy, the combination of shadow work and strategy, essentially mindset work and breaking through limiting beliefs, which is 75% of the game when you're an entrepreneur and starting a business. It's all about how do you continue to blast through all the core wounds and all the shit that comes up when you're bringing a business, aka yourself, your expression, your DNA to life, and birthing something that is uniquely yours. And so mindset, shadow work, meeting the shadows, embracing them, loving them, fully integrating them. And what I just want to say for Scotty, what I have seen really work for him is that, for me, I blend the two in this program intentionally. In other words, part of the strategy is to speak to your shadows and to share vulnerably like what it is you're moving through, so that it doesn't hold weight. And I love what he just was able to verbalize. Again, it was really, really synthesized and clear. And just to repeat it so people can really receive it. You know, whatever you hold on to out of shame for speaking it out. For example, for a lot of entrepreneurs, it's if people know this about me, it's an imposter. So if people know this about me, they'll think I'm less of an expert, so I can't share it. Actually has you shaming yourself and creating a level of energetic resistance, which is going to block you from receiving money in the first place, or clients, right? It's like you're trying to protect what you're trying to protect ends up actually rejecting you. And so you're trying to protect your expertise, aka you're trying to protect your expertise. And so a lot of people say, okay, I can't let people know this thing that makes me feel a lot of shame. Otherwise, they're not going to know. So I'm going to protect and hide away my expertise. But then your expertise is hidden, and the thing you're hiding from people is the gift that you're not unleashing on the world. And so people never get to receive what it is you have to give them because you're trying to put it away in the closet. And so what I've seen, you know, in coaching Scotty, that's really simple, but worked really fast for him, is just like, he'll have something come up and then he'll just like voice note me or just like put it into the group. It's like immediate, right? He's like, it's like medicine moving through the system and purging right in that moment, right? Like, all right, this is coming up. I'm voicing this. And what's beautiful is we'll have a group call after this. That's become a really, in my honest opinion of witnessing you, it's become a really, really beautiful thing to witness of like almost every group call is like, all right, this is what's present. And I didn't even expect this to be here, but I have to be honest. This is what's here. There's an emotion that's coming up. He names it. He starts experiencing it. We get to hold it, which rewires it, a whole story around it being safe for people to hold the emotion, including himself. And now it doesn't hold any weight. He leaves the call. He shares, he opens up spots, they fill, his clients come in. And so I know this will probably sound like some simple thing, but it is. My point, and I'll let Scotty speak to this too, is that the only thing that if you're looking for success and as an aspiring coach, the only thing that's really there for you to do is how honest and open are you being with your emotional experience with the world? How much are you letting people in? How much are you letting yourself love and embrace these aspects of yourself that you've rejected and denied for so long? And are you trying to protect your expertise along with hiding your shadows, or are you letting all of that out at once, the light and the dark, because it's got to come through in the same spot? And so I really honor Scotty, and it's why he's only going to expand his success, because this is the thing which either creates a foundation for success or blocks it. You know, and I think this is like the core of our conversation, like the shadow work that has created the external results.
Yeah. Yes to all of that. Yes to all of that. And it's just presencing again, just want to presence, because I often, like when people see me showing up, or when we see anyone show up in the virtual world, like it can appear to be a certain way. We appear a certain way, but people don't see what's behind that. And right now, as Adam's sharing, it just, these spaces are so activating for me. And I'm sharing, like, it's not, if I seem comfortable or whatever, or however it looks, internally what's going on is a lot of emotions. I feel just the pride come up. I feel the emotions, my tears come up. And because this is still expanding my heart every time I speak to these areas. So when Adam reflects to me, it reminds me what is happening and what I am working through, the deep inner work, because I can do the work and I often don't acknowledge myself for what I'm doing. I forget what the depth of the work I'm doing. So hearing these reflections, they're very activating for me. That's why when I speak in these, I call them ceremonial coaching calls. And the sacred purpose, I go into these coaching calls as a ceremony. I don't need a medicine to activate this within me, because I have that within myself if I believe it, if I allow it, and if I open myself up, and I do. And then what Adam shares is he's a shamanic guide, and that radiates through me, plus the other 14 people in sacred purpose watching me. And I show up and I feel emotion rising. It's like, I cannot leave a coaching call in this group if there's emotion. I can't not talk to that emotion. I have to like, something in me is like, hey man, this is I have an opportunity here. When that emotion rises, a discomfort, I see that as an opportunity. Am I going to step up into this discomfort, or am I going to dim away out of fear, because fear of how people judge me, fear of looking bad, fear of crying in front of people, fear of what are people going to think? So it's really allowed me to let go of my people see as my highlights on virtual in the social world. The highlights are easy to show up in, right? But it's my experience is, how can I speak into the stuff that makes me uncomfortable, my fears, my insecurities, and what perfect place is that than these ceremonial coaching calls that are every Saturday throughout this 16-week program. And that has been my deepest medicine, is just showing up, allowing, and through that, through me speaking to my fears and insecurities, the stuff that people do not see, I speak to that because it gives me an opportunity. Then, this is my deeper medicine, is then feeling safe in crying and sharing about the doubt that comes up, the shame, the fear of rejection, the fear of when people say no and are not responding to me, or I show up in a post, I'm not getting any likes on a post, or a video, I'm not getting any comments on a video. Through all that, I stay consistent. I show up in these coaching calls, and it allows people to then support me, to see me, to love on me while I'm being a mess, while I'm emotional, while I'm just sharing all the chaos that goes on inside my mind, my body, when I do show up every week through all the stuff that comes up. So that's been the medicine. Yeah, that's been the deepest medicine.
Whew. This is a big. This will be a big dose. It's like what I'm really getting to continue to synthesize, and share here is, for anybody out there, you can't have emotionless success. You're one emotional breakthrough away from a financial success, right? And this has been my experience all along as well. Of course, mine has most of the time included actual medicine. And it's like, I always share with people, it's like the reason why I come out of the ceremony and have these huge business breakthroughs is because so much emotion is cleared, so much space has been created, and so much energy and motion has moved that it's literally the law of abundance, reciprocity in the universe, that something beautiful, new, and joyful is going to come into our experience when we're willing to go into the darkness. The light enters, of course. So I love how you shared, and you really spoke into this. I think if I can just almost visualize, like myself, others, a lot of entrepreneurs kind of like sitting there on their computer trying to create like, how do I create inspiring social media content? How do I get new clients? How do I get leads? How do I create a methodology for my coaching practice? How did these people do this $20,000 in 12 weeks kind of thing? And it's like, you're not going to get there by thinking through your masculine left logical brain of there's no deduction that is going to arrive for you. But if you sit there and allow yourself to be reflected upon, like Scotty said, and loved through a process, and start to rewire into feeling safe to be with the things you have shunned, rejected, and abandoned within yourself, all of a sudden, you're also going to embrace their polar opposites, which also live inside of money and abundance and prosperity, by the way. All of these shadows attached to money, attached to success, because if you're feeling shame and guilt, how can you feel confident in yourself? If you don't feel confident in yourself, how can you feel confident holding money, holding energy, holding space? We got to be holding something. And so right now, you're likely, if you're not holding any of those things, you're holding resistance, right? If you're not able to safely hold the shadow, you're going to be resisting and holding resistance in your system. And that's an energetic. And so thank you for bringing this up, because it's like, it's almost a look into sacred purpose for people of like all the business energetic work that we are doing, like consistently without ceasing or stopping. And it's a little bit exhausting, it's real talk. It's like, I'm sure Scotty, I'll let him speak to it. It's like, it is kind of tiring. I get why people would be like, all right, I'm throwing the towel in, I give up, like, I don't want to make it seem like it's easy. It is like a kind of 16-week ceremony of like, all right, I got another core wound coming up. All right, my fear of rejection is arising. All right, like My fear of abandonment with my clients is nobody's liking or engaging with me. All right, I just want to give up. Nobody must want to work with me. It's like, it's going to come after all the belief systems, right? It's going to come after all the belief systems. And, you know, in a sense, it's up to us to continue to work through them. And it's up to me to continue to coach through the process. And it's, of course, a really deep one. So I'm just checking in real quick because it's, at least on my side, your screen froze for a second, brother. I'm going to wait and see if it pops back up. And perhaps you can also comment in here. It looks like it might have frozen you also in the stream. So for those of you who are on here, if Scotty's frozen for you too, just comment below. I know Sania's here. Let's see if it pops back on. It might be his internet. Yeah, I think he got kicked off for a quick second here. So I'm going to let him join back in. He probably just got kicked off of his Wi-Fi. And we're going to kind of wrap up here with the final about 15 minutes, And so while Scotty's jumping back in, you know, he's a part of my group coaching program, Sacred Purpose. It's 16 weeks long, 4 months. It's actually almost 5 months. You start with a 2 to 3 hour strategy session where you get 10 to 12 pages of strategy that lays out the framework for your business, your entire business. We then go into execution over 4 months, a lot of deep shadow work, a lot of mindset work, a lot of shifting belief systems, which is all that Scotty and I have spoken into. And my philosophy is that by diving that deep into the inner work, we start to see external results, right? He's trying to jump on right now, so he'll be back in a second. We start to see external results. And of course, at a financial level, Scotty's seen the $20,000 in 3 months. He's had 12 new clients since joining the program. And this is a new coaching business for him. So this program is for new coaches. It's for people who are aspiring to be a coach. Maybe they haven't called themselves a coach yet. Maybe you're a healer or an entrepreneur. Maybe you're just a light worker or a leader. But essentially, the intention of the program is to put these 12 to 15 people into a group together to create a 4-month ceremony and to combine, what I find is combining the kind of 75% mindset, shadow work, inner work with 25% strategy, which Scotty and I will speak a little bit to here. What is work on this side? So you guys can get a sense. And these are executable action steps that you're going to move through in this program. And everybody moving at a different pace to arrive with an intention of gaining coaching clients, to build an actual long-term sustainable business that's going to support you to go full-time into a coaching business, just like Kasha has, just like Scotty has, right? And so it's my belief that, of course, your opportunity at a strategic level is simply to just follow the and there's lots of components to this program, right? There's a weekly live training that we do. There's a group coaching call every Saturday, 3 times a month. And which even today in 10, 15 minutes here, we have our group coaching call after this interview. And so there's 3 group coaching calls a month. There's a live weekly training that I do a Facebook Live like this where I jump into the group and coach people for almost over an hour training once a week, every week. There's a 2 to 3 hour group coaching call every week. There's a video training that I drop into the group once a week. So guys, the level of support is really comprehensive. You'll know if this program is for you. And, you know, I've been through lots of programs and got received lots of coaching. And this is kind of a cumulative approach of what I call shamanic business coaching and really diving in there, because whatever resistance that's being held onto is the only thing that's going to stop you, right? Yes, you can pick up the strategy. Yes, you can pick up the action steps, but what's going to stop you from taking the action step is going to be a belief system. What's going to stop you from getting onto that coaching call with the person and then closing a sale is going to be a belief system. What's going to stop you from letting yourself be seen vulnerably on social media is going to be a belief system. What's going to stop you is going to be a core wound of fear of rejection. If one thing or another is going to show up for you, and it's going to create a hesitation in your system. It's going to create a lack of confidence. And so I love that Scotty also mentioned, you know, that just giving him some. So what I love that Scotty mentioned also the power of the group. Why I love that this is a group coaching program is that there's You know, there's 12 other people around you, and then myself. You have a Facebook group that everybody's inside of, and the way that people show up to support one another is really, really beautiful. And there's quite a few people from the program on this call right now, right? Including Marissa. So I just want a presence that sometimes it's the tribe, it's the family, it's the circle, it's the community that allows us to really break through. Sometimes we just need to be seen and witnessed, like Scotty has shared in the emotional space. You know, sometimes when we isolate and silo ourselves with these things that we don't want anybody else to see, just like they say in this book that I take the group through, Dark Side of the Light Chasers by 𝗵𝗵𝗺. I have all my clients read. Just like I say, it's when we also hold back and reject some of that darkness, we're also rejecting the light. And so just notice a question for everybody who's watching this, and to resonate with what Scotty has shared so far. What are the things for you that maybe you've been holding people back from fully seeing? What are the things for you that you haven't been allowing people to receive about you? And thus you've been actually denying yourself from fully receiving. This might be a money block for you. This might be an opportunity to receive and attract and magnetize abundance. And I just want to connect all the pieces, because you attracting and receiving money, finances, the $20,000 in the 3 months, nearly $7,000 a month for him, is going to be the result of your confidence with your ability to hold space. Also, your confidence in your belief system around, do you think you can even run a business? What are your belief systems around running a business, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur? Do you have energetics around that need to be cleared out? And so we move through so many layers. And at the end of the day, the business ends up just being a representation of the level of confidence that you hold in your system. And the confidence has space to exist because we've met the shadow fully. We're doing the inner work. So I'm not interested, in short-term successes. I'm not interested in like the flash in the pan. Even if it takes a little bit longer, I want to help you build something. I'm here to really shift this paradigm into coaching businesses that are fully embodied. People teaching things that feel fully embodied. People sharing things that are real experiences for them. Out of the ego and into the heart. And leading these things a little bit more from the feminine. Not the logical mind, but like, what is it that my heart is experiencing? What is my inherent wisdom and the deep things that I have here to share? Why am I really here? What is my sacred purpose? Why this is called sacred purpose, right? So on that, I'm gonna try to bring Scotty back on now, because it looks like he's back up. Let's see if it will. Scotty.
There we are, brother. There we are.
How we doing, brother? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Yes. Perfectly.
Cool. And it looks like you popped back on. So if you guys can hear, can you guys just comment below and let us know? Can you hear Scotty all right on the stream on Facebook? Yeah. What happened? Either your Wi-Fi or your laptop, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, my Wi-Fi, man. I have AT&T. I have their fastest. They say the fastest hybrid optic Wi-Fi, and it cuts out about once a week, and this happened to be during this time.
It happens.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Disconnect to reconnect.
It happens, so
you're all in divine timing, brother. We're gonna I was given a little download for people about like what are the details of sacred purpose, and I believe anytime we call this a pattern interrupt, usually it's my dog barking when I'm on a client call with somebody. But in this case, sometimes it can be the disconnection to the internet. So it's a pattern interrupt. So in the pattern interrupt, where does Spirit want us to shift into? And so we've got our group coaching call, like you said, our ceremonial call in about 6 minutes. I'd love to just give you an opportunity to, now that you've really synthesized for people, like the inner process and what has worked. If there's anything you want to speak to, kind of two questions in one here, in terms of, that's the shadow work side. In terms of the strategy or the structure of the program, I've shared with people the group coaching calls, the live weekly trainings, the video trainings, the Facebook group. What would you say to people tuning into this about sacred purpose? What would you say about like why it has been so supportive for you? Anything else you want to share about the structure itself, the strategy that you have found to be really unique and really supportive that has helped you break through to these numbers, these tangible results of the 12 clients and the $20,000?
Yeah, man. So I heard a piece about all this. Just you're talking to Sacred Purpose and everything that's included, the weekly calls, the trainings, you provide so many resources, content, strategy through Sacred Purpose that, in my experience, I'm literally just following the plan. I'm just following all the strategy, the structure that's super customizable to each individual. It's just about finding what works for you, what works for each individual. And everything in Sacred Purpose, it's all laid, like, guys, it's all laid out. Adam lays it all out. The structure, the strategy. He's so great at doing the shadow work and walking through the process that there's no reason to not be successful with what's offered through Sacred Purpose. Everything's there. The course, the back-end support. Adam's available through private voice messaging, direct contact with him. There's 3 times a week he's showing up in the private Facebook community with resources and content. Like, there's so much. Everything's laid out. It's just, how committed are you? It's like, how committed are you? Are you committed to fully showing up? Are you committed to your dreams, desires, and visions? Or are you committed to your fears and insecurities? And based off that commitment is how you will show up throughout the entire program. So for myself, it's like, I plan my work. I literally plan my work every week. I plan my week day in, day out. Every week I assess what's working, what's not working. I use Adam's tools and resources. Oh, went for a ride there. I use Adam's tools and resources.
Right, you said resource, your tripod or whatever it was. Resource upgrade.
Resource upgrades.
That was good.
Yeah, it's always upgrades, man. So it's if you're feeling committed, it's like, what's gonna pull you through and to have results is how willing are you to go deep within yourself? How are you willing to be radically honest and transparent about yourself and allow yourself to be fully supported by an amazing community, by Adam and all the people in Sacred Purpose? Like, if you're committed to that and just literally follow the plan. As I always say this, plan your work the plan. Use these coaching calls and spaces to share what's coming up, the discomfort, the tears, the emotions, and incredible things happen through that. Incredible things happen, miraculous things happen through the process. So if you're on that edge, if you're curious, like on edge, thinking about this, it's been calling to work with Adam, this is your confirmation. This is your divine confirmation to trust yourself, to trust Adam, trust Sacred Purpose, and take the leap. And your business will support you. When you fully show up, your business will completely support you in miraculous ways.
Powerful, brother. I first of all, thank you. And second of all, I love how you took the emphasis and redirected it back to the individual, because that's what I do as well. And it actually gives us an opportunity in this last few moments to be really radically honest, authentic, and vulnerable with people, because how do I say this? I constantly preach this commitment thing, because you're only going to be as successful at the level of which you're committed. And the commitment doesn't really matter when it shows up to go on the back end and look at the strategy steps and the action steps, right? I think we all know that looking at that is easy. Then you go to make the post, and then the belief system comes up around, what will people think when I share this way? And then you go to reach out to people in the belief system, what if I get rejected? And so the real question is, how committed are you to face off with whatever limitations and beliefs? Because here's the thing, when you, and this will be true for some of you, you'll reach out about Sacred Purpose, or you'll reach out to any of us as people, to coaches, let's say even you reach out to Scotty, who's an amazing coach, or you reach out to others in this program. Hey, and you get on these conversations, and then in a sense, the ego will love to make it all about the coach, You're going to love to make it about, okay, what's included in the program? Because you want logical security and safety through the response, right? Even Scotty asks questions like this, right? And everybody, we all do. What's included? Give me the logical. I ask these questions too sometimes, but we witness like, all right, I'm just going to voice this. But essentially, that's important. Yeah, I won't invalidate it. That's important. What's more important is we can sit here and I can sit here and tell you all the things that are included. Absolutely 0% of that matters whatsoever if you're not committed enough to breaking through the shit that I'm going to bring up for you in the process, or the shit that Scotty's going to bring up for you in the process of his coaching, or anybody else. So let this just be like an authentic, honest, radically like authentic message for people to really receive. Don't look at these programs and people to be your saviors. You only ever have yourself and your commitment. The same is true for anything. If you go into a ceremony, it's like medicine will just point you right back at yourself with an ugly mirror of like, hey, you're the one who keeps trying to look outside. We're spending our lives trying to look outside of ourselves, to validate ourselves, to look outside of ourselves. Even when something works, we look outside of ourselves. Then when it doesn't work, we go around and we blame everybody because it doesn't work. And so just take a moment, to really receive this, however uncomfortable it might be, this message of like, yes, Scotty just gave a glowing testimonial for sacred purpose. Yes, it's my hope that you'll be wildly successful. I'm going to show up 100% and give you everything I've got and make sure there's no reason, like you said, for you to do anything but succeed. But that doesn't mean you'll succeed. I can't guarantee that you'll succeed, because the only way I would know that is if I was 1,000% sure that all of yourself and all of your commitment was going to show up to the party. And what I can say is that all of Scotty has shown up to the party with him. All of him shows up on these group coaching calls like, what's probably going to happen in another 5 minutes? He'll probably have a good cry or something in this group coaching call. Like, who knows? Because it's like he's dedicated to the excavation process, right? He's so committed to the excavation process that he's an open channel, really. It's like, all right, guys, even in the last, I don't know what's here, but something is showing up in this moment. You guys, the last call is you two girls just spoken. Now something's coming up for me. I got to speak into it. It's like, that's so real that nothing is going to stop him, because he always puts it into the space for it to be loved upon. And the only reason he does that is because, like he said, he's committed. It's like, he's like me. I don't ever go to a coaching call, a group coaching call with my mentor. If everybody else is silent, I was like, I have a question. Even if I know the answer, because I'm open to receive support, and I'm also open to see what are my blind spots. Where are the things where I think I know, but I actually don't know shit. There's an opportunity with a beginner's mindset for me to be like, all right, this might seem simple, and maybe my ego's trying to hold me back from a growth hedge here, but I'm open to see if maybe my perception and understanding of this is actually limited in some way. Let me learn and see this from another perspective, from a group, and from a person who has literally already done this before. It's like my mentor, Scott, always says this. Yeah, you're going to get to these places in building a coaching business. Eventually, if you want to go through free resources and YouTube videos and $87 courses, pre-recorded courses, and whatever else these things are, you will eventually get there over years. But if you want to get there faster, you hire a mentor that has gotten there already, right? And this is the whole point of coaching and mentorship. It's not that anybody is more special than the other. It's that people like Scotty, and how he said, have done the work to embody the things and get to the places in their lives and their businesses which you desire to take your own to. And so these become really divine opportunities of like, all right, let me really step in and let me bring all my discomfort with me, because this baggage, it's showing up one way or another. I might as well let it be seen by the people who I know are going to love up on it, and it feels safe to do so. And I just really honor you, brother, for emphasizing that, making a point to emphasize that, because I actually don't think the rest of it becomes almost meaningless without that point. So thank you for keeping yourself really focused and centered on like what is also meaningful in this conversation.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Well said. Just to wrap it up with how willing and committed are you to face your discomfort, love through the discomfort, and then show up through the discomfort. That will determine how the process unfolds and what is created from that space. And Yeah, and then through that, man, through that, as you all see, you see the success of that. 12 new clients, $20,000. By the end of the program, I have another month left in the program. I know I'm going to attract another $10,000, and my intention is, $30,000 by the end of the 4-month program. And through this, I invested in Adam for another 6 months, and with the intention of doubling my income from that space. So. And I know for me, I need that help and support, because I need help and support to go through the places that I'm not able to see within myself. And through that, that's been my medicine. And I know it can be for many of you, if you allow, if you show up and trust yourself, and trust Adam, trust Sacred Purpose through the process.
Onward and upward we go, brother. I'm equally excited for this one-on-one coaching journey for the next 6 months. It's basically, like I said to Scotty, it's like Sacred Purpose is the first cup of plant medicine, and then he's like, all right, I'll take 2 more cups. Let's go. If I'm already here, I'm sitting there, I'm already here. Let's go for it. How many more hours am I going to be awake for in this process? So, I really honor that, because that sacred yes, of course, it's if it wasn't clear to everybody already in obvious form, the yes that he's saying, just to energetically relate this to emotion, right? Abundance is emotion. The amount of emotion that you can access is the amount of money you can access. And so when Scotty says in logical terms, I'm going to double my income, the only way he can do that is by doubling his impact. He can serve twice as many people. And the only way he can do that is by going twice as deep into his heart. And so it takes a warrior. All I got to say to close these moments is I get it. It takes a warrior. It takes a lot of courage, right? To go into, because he's like, all right, I'm ready to go into, there's a deep a part of my heart that's ready to be excavated, that holds the key to 70, 100, 150, 200, $300,000 a year. Way back in there in my, there's some generational healing and some trauma to move through, and some relational, that maybe those things are there. But I just want to really leave this truth for people, because again, nothing makes me special, nothing makes Scotty special, and everything makes all of us special. So that same key, when we're talking about money, is available for all of you and all of us. It's available for all of us. It just matters how deep are you going to go into your heart, and then how willing are you, part 2, to then hold your heart and feel safe for the world to receive you as you receive yourself. And that's where you receive abundance. It's in that place, right? And so like I said to Scotty, sign up for the one. It's already done. It's already done. It's not like there's no guesswork. It's already done, because the yes is there, and I already know, like, all right, a lot of shit's gonna come up for Scotty, but look how committed he is. So there's no, in a sense, he's the dream client, because now we get to just kind of forge our way through the ceremony with the swords up. So I'm excited for that journey, brother. And do you want to close by sharing with people, how can they connect with you if they're interested in doing a breathwork session? I know you offer some free breathwork sessions. How can they connect with you? And we'll put obviously your links and your social media in the comments of this live.
Yeah. So everyone who's watching, catching the replay, I want to gift everybody here an opportunity. If you have not done it already, I do offer a 75-minute empowered breathwork and coaching sessions. And people's experience, it's an activation. Think of activation breath. This is a catalyst to emotionally, energetic cleanse you through all the BS stories and beliefs that naturally come up. It cleanses that and gives you access. I guide you into accessing your power, your potential, the truth in your heart. So that is something I gift to each person for free the first time. It's a $200 value. So if this is something that resonates and you're really curious to dive deeper into breathwork, maybe you've done it before, but I do it in a very unique and powerful way. We'll love to share that with you. So I'll post the link down in the comments below. And I also have a free Facebook community, private community called Awaken Your Life, where I share weekly practices, weekly training and mindset in that community. So I'll also post that in the comments below for you to join. We'd love to have you in that space. My name, Scotty King. You'll see me post in the comments. So just let's be friends. Let's give each other a follow or a friend request in the Facebook world. And I look forward to joining some of you, meeting some of you, and diving deep. Through the breath.
Guys,
Through the breath.
take advantage of that breathwork session. I'm telling you. What's the value of that normally?
$200 value.
So it's a $200 value. He's giving away for free if you haven't done it before. And I'm telling you, I have a former client who said it's the most powerful breathwork session he's ever done. So testimonials speak for themselves, guys. Case in point, if you can, and you're ready for like a huge shift in a short period of time, this is a huge gift, you know, that Scotty's giving. So thanks for offering that to the community, brother, and opening yourself up and to really be of service to people. You never know when one little session can change your life. So I really appreciate that, brother.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Thanks so much for joining me here, my man. Thank you for all your heart. Thank you for your tears. Thank you for your emotion. Thank you for your trust. Yeah. Thanks for being on this journey. Thanks for being a brother. Thanks for being a friend. Thanks for being a dream client with your level of commitment. Truly, sky's the limit, bro. And I really pray that, and I know, and I trust, and I believe that there was a lot of value in this interview at a whole lot of levels. And so I just give thanks for us to be open to receive everything that was received in a really pure, open way. And for those of you who tuned in, let us know what you took away from it. Comment below any takeaways, anything that really landed for you that you're going to like carry forward into your life or your business. We would love to hear from you. And of course, connect with Scotty after this as well. So with that, much love, brother. I'll see you in about 3 minutes in the group coaching call, the Sacred Purpose call. And thank you for sharing your heart with everybody here.